South Central Idaho, or more commonly known today as Magic Valley, Idaho, would not be the vibrant place it is today without the remarkable contributions and achievements of Ira B. Perrine. Perrine initially relocated from his hometown in Indiana to the Wood River Valley in 1883. There, he attempted his luck in the gold and silver mines for a year, but his efforts yielded little success. However, he soon discovered that selling dairy products from his farm was a more profitable and enjoyable venture. This venture led him on a quest for a better place to herd his cattle to each winter. In 1884, he embarked on a journey from Haley to Shoshone, where he would meet with early Idaho pioneer Charlie Walgamot. The following morning, Walgamot and Perrine set out by wagon through the dense sagebrush desert, heading towards the Snake River. As they approached the canyon's edge, they followed a trail carved by the native Indians down into the canyon, which is now known as the Blue Lakes Grade. Perrine, in awe of the breathtaking view, promptly filed a claim and built his ranch there. It became his and his family's new residence. With the abundant water from the Snake River, Perrine, who had a keen eye for business, proceeded to run his own ferry operation across the river from present-day Jerome to Twin Falls. He also planted several orchards around his ranch and sold the fruit produced by his trees. Perrine, observing the stark contrast between the lush and habitable environment below in the canyon and the barren and infertile deserts above, couldn't help but contemplate the profound impact it would have if only there were a means to redirect some water to the deserts above. He concluded that the most viable method would be to construct a dam and canals at a location in the river where the water level matched the desert land above. Did such a place even exist? And if so, it had to be reasonably close. Considering the time constraints of his numerous businesses, he eventually did discover this elusive gem. Approximately 30 miles east, this spot marked the canyon's treacherous transition to ground level. As early as 1893, I. B. Perrine embarked on a mission to convince private financiers to construct a dam and canal system in the city of Milner, Idaho. Through his relentless efforts and unwavering determination, 7 years later successfully persuaded enough financiers to invest in the monumental project of the Milner Dam. Construction commenced in 1900 and was undoubtedly completed in 1905. The North Side canals that brought life to the city of Jerome and surrounding cities were completed in 1907. Without irrigation and electricity, the towns in this area wouldn't exist. The financiers honored the area by naming towns after them. Jerome Coon, Jerome, Wendell Coon, Wendell, Peter Kimberly, Kimberly, and H.L. Hollister, Hollister. A school was named for Paul Bickle, and the dam was named after Stanley Milner. Perrine's dream was realized with the financing of the William S. Coon family and other wealthy Easterners. In 1907, Robert McCollum, Jerome Coon, and 2 others rode a horse-drawn wagon up the Blue Lakes Grade from Perrine's ranch in the Snake River Canyon. Seeking a new town, they traveled 10 miles northwest through southern Idaho's sagebrush desert. Camped at nightfall, they awoke to a beautiful vista of distant mountains and decided this was the perfect spot. Their campsite became the center of Jerome, Idaho, where west to east Main Street and north to South Lincoln Avenue intersected. They formed the Northside Land and Investment Company to begin selling land plots. Paul Kartsky was hired by Coon to construct the first buildings to establish the town. The first building erected was his personal residence, followed by the State Bank, lodging house, and a neighboring restaurant. The lodging house also served as a stagecoach station, operated by Perrine's new stagecoach line. By late September of the same year, Jerome had acquired a water well, electricity, and telephone service, becoming the first town to enjoy these amenities. This development soon transformed Jerome into a hub for agriculture and business. Notable businesses included grain elevators, lumber yards, hardware stores, and dairy supply stores. And of course, the Jerome Cooperative Creamery played a pivotal role in Jerome's success. The Idaho Southern Railroad was extended into town on January 1, 1909, to welcome the new year. The arrival of the first train brought cheers and excitement to the townsfolk.
As I drive up to the tracks, I can see the telltale smoke. But there's automobiles from LA, came from the great Northwest.
Initially, the station was a small shack, similar to many of the houses at the time. However, it served as the station until 1912, when it was replaced by a new station located a mile west of town. Later that year, in July, the North Side Inn, originally known as the Idaho Hotel, was completed. Construction commenced in October 1908. It's reasonable to assume that a grand opening event was held, featuring food and entertainment. The North Side Inn, once a bustling hub for the city, housed its many guests and weary travelers. This image depicts waitresses patiently waiting for the first diners to arrive. Over the years, it also served as a Greyhound and Trailways bus depot from the lobby. However, its golden importance came to an end in 1967 when its maintenance became too expensive, and the lack of perseverance efforts ultimately led to its demolition.
Takes hard work and dedication to get there. Hard work and dedication, it works better than prayer. Hey, if you want to move a mountain, you gotta start off with a shovel. Work and dedication will get you there.
Paul Kartsky, responsible for building Jerome, and his wife Jane, were the first people to own a car in Jerome. In the early days, until around the 1920s, most of the roads were still old, rooted wagon trails, making it difficult for early automobiles to navigate. Breakdowns and flat tires were common occurrences. As time went by and Jerome kept growing, horses were beginning to be replaced by automobiles. William Jennings Bryan, a Democratic nominee for the U.S. presidency in 1908, was a frequent visitor to Jerome. Later, he was elected Secretary of State for President Wilson. In 1909, he purchased 40 acres in southwest Jerome, which included the present-day Jerome Cemetery. In the second picture, he is the fifth person from the left. Another frequent visitor, James H. Hawley, is the sixth person from the left and served as the governor of Idaho from 1911 to 1913. Ira B. Perrine is the rightmost person in the picture. In this image, a farmer is seen holding a jackrabbit that was causing damage to his trees. Back in the early days, jackrabbits were abundant in numbers and posed a significant nuisance to farmers as they would damage their crops. From 1907 to as late as 1970, jackrabbit roundups were held every few years. These roundups involved the capture and unaliving of the jackrabbits, which were then consumed by some individuals or given to dogs. Parades, another great event that continues to unite the community and lift spirits, are accompanied by the county fair and rodeo events that span an entire week. Pictured here is a crowd eagerly awaiting to be let in at the grand opening of the McCleary drugstore. Jerome actually had a public pool from 1923 until around 1993. They also had a women's swimming team and offered swimming lessons for children. Interestingly, Jerome once boasted many places where adults and children alike could socialize. At one point, they had a movie theater, a skating rink, a bowling alley, multiple 8-ball pool lounges, ice cream parlors, and many stores. This is remarkable, for today there is a fraction of activities and services available. If there was a Christmas picture that best suited Jerome, Idaho and its residents, it would have to be of this sagebrush being used as a Christmas tree. Here's a picture of an airplane casually taxiing down Main Street. On a more somber note, yet hugely important nonetheless, the Japanese-American internment camp during World War II. December 7, 1941, marked a turning point for Jerome, setting the stage for 4 challenging years. Many residents joined the military, while others cultivated crops for local markets and the military. In 1942, President Roosevelt and his advisors forcibly relocated all persons of Japanese descent from the Pacific coast to inland internment camps. One of the 10 relocation centers was established near Jerome, in the Hunt area. Out of the 100,000 relocated, 9,285 arrived from Puyallup, Washington, by train to Jerome. The first 600 arrived on August 10, 1942, and were housed at the Jerome County Fairgrounds until the Morrison-Knudsen Company completed the barracks. By September, the remaining Japanese Americans arrived. Despite the desert environment, the internees demonstrated resilience and ingenuity. They established a garden, raised chickens, had a school, a newspaper, a store, and access to medical care. Under armed guard, they were granted passes to work in local farms. In 1943, the US government recognized the men's military eligibility, forming the 442nd Infantry Regiment Combat Team. They fought bravely in Europe, becoming the most decorated unit of World War II with the highest casualty rate. The camp closed on November 1, 1945, but many internees remained, contributing to society. Jerome, Idaho continues to improve and succeed as a leading hub of agriculture, our lovely home in the middle of everywhere. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell so you get a heads up whenever I drop more deep dives about Jerome and the nearby towns. Secondly, if you'd like to donate and support more videos, I've linked my Patreon in the video description. These videos are made in the hope of inspiring the younger generations to feel proud about their communities and recognize the hard work and dedication of older generations that make the Valley successful. Together we can build a stronger, more supportive future for all of us, the great resilient people of the Magic Valley. I'd also love to hear your feedback and/or personal stories, because this channel is made for the community. I'd like to give you a say in what video you'd want to see next. I'm considering making 2 more videos about Jerome, one focusing on the history and recounts of the Shoshone, Bannock tribes in Jerome and its surroundings, and the other on the locations and then and now history of standing and lost buildings in Jerome. After completing these 2 videos, I'll move on to other cities or recountings. If you're interested in learning more about Jerome, there's a lot more to discover beyond what I've covered. I've included a link to Linda Helms's book, Images of America, Jerome, in the descriptions below. Alternatively, you can purchase the book and have Linda autograph it by visiting the Jerome Historical Society Museum at 212 East 1st Street in Jerome, Idaho.